These are typical equations from paper 2, mathematics at grade 9 level. So I'll solve the first 5. Usually you meet these kinds of equations where you have fractions in grade 9, but I'll try to simplify them for you. And then we have these, then you are solving the last 5. So without wasting much of your time, we can start. Remember, the procedure when you have brackets is to get rid of the brackets first. So I'll multiply this by this to get this. Then 3 times 1, this will be -3. Then I can collect the like terms. So I can either take the 5 this side and the 6 this side, or take the y terms this side and the constant terms this side. So I'll bring the y terms this side, despite the fact that this will attract negative signs, like this. So after taking the 5 to the other side, remember to change the sign, and after taking the 6y to the other side, remember to change the sign. So when you have something like this, different signs, subtract, and then remember to get the sign from the bigger number. So this minus this is -2y. I'm getting the sign from there, and then the difference between these two is 2. And then we have the same signs here, same signs, add and get the sign from the bigger number. But in most cases we just say you maintain the sign, but for your sake we shall get the sign from the bigger number. So this minus this is you add and get the sign from here. But as you can see, even if you get it from here, the sign will still be a negative. So in short, when you have the same signs, you just maintain the sign like this. Okay, so now to solve for y, I'll divide both sides by -2. So the negative and the negative will go, and then 2 into 2 is 1. So -2 into -8, remember that negative into negative is positive, and then 2 into 8, that's a 4. So that means you have solved the first problem. And then for the next one, so as you may have noticed, the moment you get rid of the brackets, you have paper 1 types of questions. So now when you have a question like this, where you have a fraction on one side and a whole number on the other side, you simply cross multiply and solve for x. So I'll just put a 1 here like this, and then I can cross multiply. So I can say 2 multiplied by this, I'll put it in brackets, because this 2 is multiplying by each of these two numbers. It's more like expansion. And then x times 1, this is x. So now I can expand the brackets. You may not even need to write this multiplication sign. So this times this is 6x. Then 2 times -1 is -2. Then everything is equal to x. So now you can collect the like terms. You can bring the x this side and take the 2 to the other side. So you have 6x minus x is equal to, when the -2 goes to the other side, it becomes a positive. And this is a negative because it was a positive this side. So now this minus this is 5x, which is equal to 2. Then to solve for x, you simply divide both sides by 5. And then your x will be equal to 2 over 5. If you want, you can leave it like this, or you can write it in decimal, as a decimal number, which will be 5 into 2, that's 0. You put a point and then you put a 0 there. 5 into 20 is 4. So you can either leave it like this or like this. Then part C. So for part C, this is a bit unique. So the easiest way of dealing with a problem like this, is to take the whole numbers to one side and leave the fractions on the other side. So if I decide to keep the x minus 3 on my left hand side, then I'll take all the whole numbers to the other side. So when I take the -1 this side, this will be like this. It will be +1. And then at this point, I can just introduce a 1 here and cross multiply. So we can say 2 times x plus 1. So 2 times x plus 1. Remember to always put brackets here. And then you do the same thing there. 1 times x minus 3. And then now you can get rid of the brackets by expanding. So you can say 2 times x, this is 2x. 2 times 1, this is 2. Then 1 times x, this is an x. 1 times -3, that's -3. And then you can just collect the like terms. So I have 2x. I can bring this one to the left hand side like this. And then we have an equal sign. We have -3. Then I can take the 2 to the other side so that it becomes a negative. So 2x minus x, remember this is like 1x. So 2x minus x is x. And then -3 minus 2, remember we have the same signs here. So we add and maintain the sign, or get the sign from the bigger number, whichever works for you. So now you can say this minus this, this plus this is 5, and then you maintain the sign or get it from the bigger number. So your answer is a -5 here. So quickly we move on to part D, which is easier. So for part D, first things first, you have to get rid of the brackets. So you can say 4x minus 2 is equal to, this times this is 2x, and this times this is 6. Then at this point, you have paper 1 questions. You simply collect the like terms, or you group the like terms together. So I have my 4x here. I'll just bring this 2x this side. And then I have my 6 here. I can just take the -2 to the other side so that it becomes a positive. And then 4x minus 2x, this is 2x. And then 6 plus 2, this is an 8. You divide both sides by 2, and your x will be 4. So now I can I have to solve this one, and then you can solve the rest of the problems. So on part E, we have brackets here and we have no brackets there. So we can simply get rid of the brackets first. So 3 times 2, this will be 6, minus 3 times y, this is 3y. And then everything is equal to y minus 14. And then you can collect the like terms. So I can leave my 3y this side, or I can leave my 6 here. But I think taking the 3y to the other side will be much easier, because it's a negative here. Once I take it to the other side, it will be positive. Either ways, the answer will still be the same. So I'll leave my 6 here and bring my 14 this side. So whether you decide to take the variables to the other side, or you keep them here, the answer will still be the same, except that someone who will keep this one here and bring the y this side will have some negative numbers to deal with. So 6 plus 14, this is 20. Then 4 plus y plus 3y, this is 4y. Then you can simply divide both sides by 4, and then 4 will be equal to 5, which is like y is equal to 5. So let me show you what I meant by taking this one to the other side. So if I decide to keep the negative 3y here and bring the y this side, then this is what I'll have. And then we have a negative 14 here. We take the 6 to the other side, we have a negative 6. Then this minus this is negative 4y. Remember, same signs, we add and maintain the sign, or get the sign from the bigger number, which is just the same thing. And then this minus this is negative 20, like this, because we have the same signs, so we add and maintain the same sign, which will be negative 20, which will be a negative sign. So now you can divide both sides by negative 4. Then the negative and the negative will go, the 4 and the 4 will go because they are dividing. Then the negative and the negative will go, so you remain with a positive. 4 into 20 is 5. So as you can see, the answers are still the same, except that you have some negative numbers to deal with on this one here. So you can attempt these 5 problems starting from F, G, H, I, and J. So on, where is that one? On F, make sure that you put a 1 here, because we always have an invisible 1 to expand with. Otherwise, this negative can mess your work up. These are all past exam questions, by the way.